I know. Personally, I am actually quite horrified by the fact that last night's episode ended on a cliffhanger. Hello, good morning, and happy Tuesday, everybody. So, yeah. So shortly after last night's episode of Watching Wano, one thing I immediately do is, I watched the Grand Line reviews, sort of a discussion about, that particular episode that, I just watched. And fun fact, this anime has a low adaptation rate. I mean, you essentially have at most 17 pages in a manga chapter, and this one only did about 10. So yeah, when I kept saying that there was filler last night, I actually wasn't kidding around. There was quite a bit, but it was actually filler that was fun to look at. And yeah, I know I should be saying the term anime-only content, but first of all, it's much more of a mouthful to say. And even though filler really does have that negative connotation to it, know that when I do say filler, I mean that, it's, stuff that wasn't in the manga. Again, I could be saying anime-only content, but, let's be honest, that's a mouthful to say. It is. Filler's just easier to say, anyway. So, there's that. That was awesome. There was the, you're probably wondering that, the scary-looking guy, Basil Hawkins, mentioned that, I don't want to take on two people of the worst generation. So, that actually is something that I could, sort of talk about. I mean, there's plenty of content you can find, but this is, how I would tell you it goes. It's basically, before the 2-year time skip, one of the arcs near the end was the Sabaody archipelago. That was an arc. And during that arc, Oda introduced the concept of supernovas. They're basically rookie pirates who have a bounty of over 100 million berries. And Luffy and Zoro and Basil Hawkins were among those 11 supernovas. And then, fast forward 2 years later, you have the worst generation, which consists of the 12 worst people who ultimately changed the pirate world after the Paramount War, or the War of the Best, or the Marineford War, whatever. And at this point, you're probably thinking, 12? You said there were 11 supernovas. Who's the 12th guy? Well, I could tell you. But that's sort of I'd be spoiling something pretty major happening it's something that already happened in the manga and everyone knows in the story. But if you're not familiar to it, I don't want to give it away. But it's pretty sweet. Now, when I say each of those rookies had a bounty of over 100 million berries, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, I swear. The number itself actually varied. See, Zoro's bounty at the time was 120 million, and Luffy's was actually 300 million, due to their actions at Enies Lobby, which was an arc that happened a little while before that. And if you can believe it, Luffy actually had the second highest bounty among the supernovas. Who had the highest one? Well, that's actually another spoiler I don't want to get into, because we're going to be seeing this character, shortly, in the anime. I mean, if you read the manga and you do watch the anime, you know exactly who it is I'm referring to. But, yeah, there's him. There's that person. So, interesting fact about the Sabaody archipelago arc. I'm just going to say Sabaody arc. That's what I'm going to say. When Oda first made up that arc, he actually created the concept of having the 11 supernovas because he actually thought that the Sabaody arc was going to be boring. Yeah, it's true. He literally made them up just for trying to add some excitement, a new flair of element to the story. And in this case, it worked. Worked phenomenally, actually. Because through it, we got a lot of fan favorites. Well, I mean, theoretically, I actually could name all 11 supernovas and subsequently all 12 members of the worst generation, but I think I'd rather keep it, spoiler free in that regard for now. But, if you really want to look it up, we have the power of the internet. So that's pretty sweet. Let's see. Anything about yesterday's episode that I really liked watching a lot. Let's see. Well, obviously, the action, it's pretty solid. There was quite a bit of it in here. And again, I mentioned there was a lot of filler. Like, one thing that was filler, they really elaborate on the giant straw doll that, you saw in terms of, it, forming and coming to life. Which, yeah, it was filler, but it was actually fun to watch. I mean, it was creepy and ominous. And it has nails for fingers. That's sweet. That's like really creepy. I love that. And fine, and I actually was wrong about something I did say, and that was they didn't mention that Basil Hawkins had the straw fruit power in the manga, but they did. So I actually, again, yes, I read the manga, but what you read in the manga is adapted into anime form well over a year later, and you can forget stuff in a year. That happens. So again, I don't actively go back to the chapters they're talking about in the anime and see, oh, they did that, or oh, that's different from what I saw last time. I try not to focus too much on that stuff, especially when, for the most part, when it comes to the actual panels that are in the manga, the anime does a great job of actually drawing them out and, animating them in a way that is entertaining, so I can't really complain. But I know some people who are diehard One Piece fans, they really do find that, not good. And, I respect them, it's their opinion. They're more than welcome to think that. It just doesn't bother me as much. And that's cool. Okay, one thing I definitely do want to mention that I said yesterday as I was doing that outro I did, I actually said it wrong. Originally it goes, G.I. Jimbo, he's gonna destroy everybody for you and you, and you and you, and you and you. When yesterday I said, G.I. Jimbo, he's gonna save everybody for you and you, and you and you, and you and you. Yes, admittedly, the former is much, much funnier. And yes, I totally screwed up on that. But, I just call it the nice guy in me, the glass half full kind of guy. I personally thought at least what I said was in spirit with what that joke was, as well as the fact that it's aesthetically better sounding and morally better to listen to. So, I'll give myself that. But I will admit, if I screw something up like that, I do legitimately will screw it up. Man, Rockin' Modern Life was such a great show. It was. I love that show. Seriously, even, if it wasn't for SpongeBob, I would dare say that Rocko's Modern Life was probably, the most quoted Nicktoon I think I've ever, again, quoted. The G.I. Jimbo. Let's move it with Buttmaster. The fishing episode. That one's one of my favorites. That pirate's with nags, with arms, and then opens up with knives too. And then they're like, I love that joke. Man. That was, oh man, there's so many good Rocko's Modern Life episodes. I do. I know, I shouldn't gush about Rocko's Modern Life anymore. I did that enough yesterday. But outside of, the 3 episodes you should probably watch before watching Sad Cling, which are Future Schlock, I Have No Son, and Wacky Deli, all of which are great episodes, by the way. Other ones would be the fishing episode I just mentioned, Cabin Fever, the RECYCLE Recycle. You can. The only reason why I didn't sing that song is because I mentioned enough references as it is. Seriously. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Bloaty and Squirmy, anything featuring them are awesome. What's another really good one? The blender guy, little blender guy. That was a great episode. Yeah, seriously, there's like a lot of them. I can't even name them all. It's like the coffee episode. Oh, that's a great one too. Man, I forgot. Even I'm amazed how much I remember that show and how awesome it was. So, yeah, I should stop talking about Rocko's Modern Life. I did enough of that yesterday, and yeah. Funny enough, I do know that Invader Zim Into the Florpus is out, and I'm going to try and get to watching that eventually so I can talk about it. In fact, I noticed it last night, but I figured, watching Wano kind of took precedent first. So, I'm going to try watching Enter the Florpus hopefully before America's Got Talent comes on. If not, we should be okay. Not really that much of an issue. In terms of, stuff I did yesterday, I visited my grandma, I love my grandma, and I actually showed her the two places because it's my mother and my grandmother that are hosting the baby shower for my brother and his wife, the Jack and Jill baby shower. And thanks to the power of Facebook and the internet, I was able to show my grandmother photos of both bee sweets and peas macarons. So, hopefully, again, I know that some of those people are avid watchers, so I'm trying to fight for you guys, but in the end, it really comes down to what my mother and my grandmother want to do. So, fingers crossed. Know that, I am fighting for you guys. Funny enough, though, I tried to suggest using bee sweets for, my, uncle's wedding cake when he got married last October, but, it was one of those instances where as soon as, the engagement was announced, the very first thing they probably talked about, maybe not the very first thing, but one of them, was where they were going to get their wedding cake from. So they decided to go with Wegmans, which, Wegmans is awesome. I mean, I've said that. I mean, I just shopped at Wegmans the other day, so I can't really, knock them or anything. And pretty much everyone in this whole area agrees Wegmans is awesome. It was just one of those instances where they decided what they wanted to do before I even knew about it and therefore could make a suggestion. So, to the good people over at B Sweets, I am sorry. Hopefully if we can get a certain cake there, that'd be pretty sweet. That'd be. I didn't even mean to make that a pun either. It just happened. Oh well. Yeah. Looking at myself in the camera, I just realized it's probably weird that I'm wearing it probably looks like I'm wearing the exact same shirt from yesterday, because I'm pretty sure I wore a red shirt yesterday, but trust me, this is a different shirt. And even if it was the same, I definitely would have washed it prior to, putting it on. Forget starting the video, I would just go, shirtless or whatever I have gone shirtless I've gone shirtless for playing videos, you know that so far. But you get the idea. I don't really do that, let's say. So, yeah. So, hopefully for my brother's and his wife's Jack and Jill baby shower, I can get bees and peas. That'd be That'd be pretty cool. So, like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, follow me on social media platforms, turn on notifications. I am humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch. Enjoy for today. I'm hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk or channel, is going to be here to London here. I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices.